Honored with the Emmy for News Excellence. News 5, on your side, starts now.
Now it's 6. Progress. A brand new report shows what's getting better and what still needs work at the troubled Cuyahoga County Jail.
A lasting legacy.
It's not just about getting justice for Samantha. It is also about making sure that there are no more Samanthas.
They say this teen got mixed up in the wrong crowd and it cost her her life. Now her family wants to lift other teens up to protect them from the same fate.
Investigators say a U.S. postal worker spun quite the yarn after a shooting inside his mail truck. But News 5 found out all is not as it seems.
We just had a carrier attack and shot at.
Brand new at 6, the 911 calls from the moment a postal worker claimed he was attacked on the job in Canton. Today, deputies tell News 5 he made up the whole thing.
They say he was trying to cover up the fact that he fired his own gun inside his mail truck. News 5's Olivia Fecto found out why investigators say he told that tall tale.
The initial call came into sheriff's deputies as a postal worker who said he'd been attacked and that someone fired shots at his mail truck on this street in Northwest Canton. But it didn't take investigators long to decide that wasn't what happened. The story Harry Lewis Royal Jr. told investigators was about an attack, and he relayed it to 911 just moments after he said it happened.
Bigger than me, maybe 210, 220. He had a blue sweatshirt on with a hood. He had like one of those black masks that's like cloth. You can see out, but you can't see in. And he had dark blue jeans.
Royal describes the attack in detail.
I don't know if he was trying to rob me or kill me. He's hitting me, and he's dominating me. And next thing I know, I got my taser in my right-hand pocket, and I stuck him, and he went down. As soon as he went down, I jumped in my vehicle, bang, bang, and I'm gone.
But when investigators heard his story, they decided Royal had made a false report about what happened on Packard Avenue.
The letter carrier that was involved.
Packard Avenue.
The letter carrier that do something from a bin in his vehicle where this gun was stored. Accidentally discharged one round from the firearm. That shot went through the truck's side window, shown here in photos taken by a News 5 viewer. And that's when investigators say Royal decided to shoot a second round through the windshield. A different story than what he told 911 and his boss at the post office.
Next thing I know, as I'm starting to take off, I hear two shots. One hits the window, whizzing right by my face. And as my vehicle's turning, the other hits my windshield. I'm gone. I'm flooring it, and I didn't look back.
Mail carriers in Canton were pulled off the streets yesterday in response to this incident. A few months ago, News 5 reported that postal workers in Canton were on alert after a strange man approached several carriers on their routes. According to Lieutenant Ryan Carver, Royal didn't give an explanation for why he was carrying a gun, but he did explain why he tried to cover it up. He initially told us that he fabricated the story out of concerns of losing his job and knowing that he should not have been having the firearm in the vehicle. A spokesperson for the United States Postal Inspection Service, the law enforcement arm of USPS, sent us this information, noting that weapons and explosives are banned on Postal Service property, including in carriers' work vehicles. He also said employees are told about the rule when they're hired and are frequently reminded of it. In addition to the charges filed by the Stark County Sheriff's Office, the United States Postal Inspection Service says it's going over all its options and deciding whether to file charges related to this incident. In Canton, Olivia Fecto, News 5.
New at 6 tonight, signs of progress inside the troubled Cuyahoga County Jail. 10 months after a blistering report called conditions there inhumane. A new review found the county is actually making some improvements. 5 On Your Side investigator Scott Knoll got a chance to spend months detailing the corrections crisis. He joins us now live from our newsroom with more from this report.
Well, in the 43-page report, inspectors cited the enormity of the range of concerns facing the jail. Of course, that includes 11 past and current jail employees indicted this year for various crimes and 9 inmate deaths since the summer of 2018. Despite it all, inspectors also found progress. The team from American Correctional Association came to Cleveland twice, once for 5 days last winter and again in June. They cited progress in areas like reducing overcrowding and hiring more jailers. Those are 2 big areas the jail has struggled with. The team said that kind of progress has to continue, writing jail administrators have laid the groundwork to continue to improve the overall operation. But there are still problems. They found staff shortages continue, especially on holidays and weekends. That leads to red zoning or inmates being locked down in their cells for hours at a time. They also called sanitation in the jail a work in progress. Inspectors found sewer drain fleas, broken toilets, and clogged air vents. They also cited several examples of unlocked and unattended doors and unsecured keys. And then there was this. In June, inspectors found hot dogs in the Euclid jail still being used, even though they expired back in March. And just this week, the jail was back in the headlines after an inmate escaped. He was later caught, but the county says the investigation into how he escaped is not yet complete. Live in the Newsroom on 5 on Your Side, investigator Scott Knoll.
The mission assigned to Ohio Task Force 1 is over. Today in a Facebook post, the task force revealed it received a demobilization order releasing them from duty. The team was sent to Florida to help provide aid last week as Hurricane Dorian threatened Florida's east coast. Since then, the team says it's staged in several states for potential damage and is grateful to be headed home.
We have new information tonight on the arrest of the Cleveland mayor's grandson, Frank Q. Jackson. Today, we learned that arrest came after U.S. Marshals reached out to the mayor to arrange his grandson's surrender. Marshals told News 5 they talked about whether the younger Jackson would turn himself in or whether a task force would have to track him down.
I told him, hey, Pete U.S. Marshal, I'd like you to, your grandson has a warrant for him. I want him to peacefully surrender. And, you know, that's one option. And obviously, you know, there's other options. So it wasn't, it was quick, it was good, it was easy.
Frank Q. Jackson was indicted on several felony charges this week in connection with a June altercation at a gas station and outside a private residence.
It is hard to put a number on the cost of battling the opioid epidemic in our area, but hopefully $13.2 million will help the cause. That is the size of the grant that the CDC awarded to the Cuyahoga County Board of Health to help prevent opioid-related overdoses and deaths over the next 3 years. Several doctors deaths and next three years.
Educating physicians, the typical way that we educate physicians is the same way physicians have been educated for hundreds of years, which is somebody like me stands up and gives a lecture.
Dr. Emmerman said the new plan will be to adopt a strategy called academic detailing, where you train physicians with bite-sized pieces of information, followed by reinforcement.
The family of a murdered teen turning grief into action and making a difference in the lives of other kids. 18-year-old Samantha Guthrie was missing for weeks before her body was found in a wooded area in Summit County. Tonight, Only News 5's Bob Jones shows us how her family is keeping Samantha's memory alive.
If I stop and think about it like now, I cry.
10 months after the murder of Samantha Guthrie, the anguish remains raw for her mother, Joni Jackson, and for Samantha's aunt, Jackie Connor.
You know, the more we talk about her and cry, she's just always here.
At the age of 18, Samantha dreamed of becoming a neonatal nurse, but her mom says Samantha got in with the wrong crowd and struggled with meth.
Her road dead-ended, literally. She didn't get a chance to fix her mistakes.
She went missing last November. A few weeks later, her body discovered in a wooded area in New Franklin. She had been shot in the head.
It's not just about getting justice for Samantha. It is also about making sure that there are no more Samanthas.
Keeping Samantha's memory alive is the idea behind a garage filled with items, which will be sold or auctioned off during a fundraiser tomorrow, including gift baskets, T-shirts, lanyards, and much more.
You know, we have the butterfly pins that we've all worn at all of the pre-trials and court dates so far.
The nonprofit Drug Free Clubs of America is partnering with the family, creating scholarships in Samantha's name. Kids who have committed to drug-free lives can write essays to become eligible.
All of the essays for Samantha's scholarship will come directly to us. So we'll get to read the essays and choose the recipient of Samantha's funds.
On Saturday afternoon, all of those gift baskets will be delivered here to the Walker Pavilion in the Portage Lakes area. The family hopes to raise thousands of dollars and continue the scholarships for years.
We wanted to do something because, you know, Samantha, we didn't want her death to be in vain.
In the meantime, the family still waits for justice. 4 arrests were made in Samantha's case. 2 have been convicted. 2 others, charged with murder, stand trial at the end of this month. But for now, the family is focused on how Samantha's short life can impact so many others.
They took her from us, but she's not really gone.
In Akron, Bob Jones, News 5.
Good news, Hurricane Dorian finally pushing away from the U.S. An update on where it's headed next. And also, I'll have an update on our rain chances for the weekend coming up.
3 deaths, at least, all linked to vaping. Now some states are taking action to better regulate this booming new industry. We find out if Ohio has any steps planned.
It's time for the purge. Hundreds of thousands of Ohioans are about to be kicked off the voter rolls. But we learned there will be some exceptions.
A middle schooler in handcuffs. Tonight, the school district reveals its response to the controversy, and we hear what the child's mother thinks about all this.
A 3rd person in the U.S. has died from a vaping-related lung illness, and another death possibly linked to vaping is under investigation now.
Well, as concerns about the dangers of e-cigarette use continue to rise, several states are cracking down. But what are we doing here in Ohio to address growing concern? News 5's Emily Hamilton in the newsroom with the latest.
Danita and Rob, as we've reported earlier this week, Michigan became the first state to ban flavored e-cigarette cartridges. Medical experts in New York are also looking into several respiratory illnesses linked to chemicals in those vape cartridges. Ohio health officials say they hope the Buckeye State isn't far behind. Ken Fletcher oversees both the Ohio and Michigan branches of the American Lung Association and says e-cigarette manufacturers have taken advantage of teenagers and young adults with sugary tasting flavors. He says these products have only been around for about a decade, so the long-term health effects are unknown.
They have been billing these since their inception as being clean and safer and healthier, and quite frankly, there's just not the data to back that up.
Governor DeWine defers to federal regulators on this issue, but Ken Fletcher hopes Michigan's ban on flavored cartridges will make vaping less appealing and says Ohio lawmakers are taking a step in the right direction by raising the legal age to buy tobacco from 18 to 21. Live in the newsroom tonight, Emily Hamilton, News 5.
Emily, thank you. Well, the purge is here. Today, the Ohio Secretary of State started booting people from Ohio voter rolls. News 5's political reporter John Kosick has reported there were some 235,000 voters who have been inactive for at least 6 years, all at risk of losing their registered voter status. They were all sent mailers, giving them a chance to preserve that registration. And at last check, Frank LaRose said about 10,000 did. Everyone else gets the boot. But there will be some exceptions. For example, there are some registrations with missing voting history and some voters who simply moved to a new address in the same county. Cuyahoga County confirmed 485 names will stay on the list, and nearly 31,000 are being removed.
A school resource officer is on leave while the district investigates his decision to handcuff a middle schooler. It happened in Lorain at Southview Middle School. Lorain City Schools told News 5 it's aware of the incident and that the student's mother agreed with allowing that officer to handcuff her son to, quote, communicate the consequences of truancy. And also new tonight, how would you like to see a World War II plane in action? It'll be on display at the Lost Nation Airport in Willoughby this weekend. Tonight, we're going to give you a closer look at this historic piece of machinery in action. We're having some technical problems with that piece, but we'll try to get to you maybe on later editions of News 5 tonight. So,
all right, let's talk weather now, because it is such a big weather weekend.
Yes. Yes. Lots of football.
Lots of football.
And we need some great football weather, and we are going to get exactly that for this evening. I think for the Browns game, for this evening, the Browns game, for this evening, the Browns game.
How pretty.
Cleveland right now, gorgeous. We did have some thicker clouds roll in temporarily with a little weak front, but most of those clouds are starting to break up, so we're enjoying some sunshine, and overall it is a very nice evening out there. In fact, most of the rain that we had earlier kind of fizzled out, faded away, so not really showing much on the Power 5 radar right now. Just a few sprinkles showing up near Canton, Brewster, south of Dover and New Philly, to the southwest of Rush, maybe a few sprinkles reaching the ground, but that's about it. So partly sunny out there, pleasant, comfortable, great way to roll into the weekend. Feeling great, looking great out there, no major weather issues. 72 degrees in Cleveland, low 70s for you in Akron, a little cooler in Worcester, 69. And just very nice, quiet weather conditions. Of course, we've got a lot of football action for tonight, a lot of high school football games for this Friday evening, Friday night, and overall the weather should be fairly nice. I think any rain chance will be over with by 9 p.m. Temperatures dipping to the middle 60s by 9, 64 degrees by 11. Eventually, we will go back into the 50s, but that will be late tonight, so you may need to pull out the light jacket by then. As far as Hurricane Dorian, still a 90-mile-per-hour Category 1 hurricane. It did make landfall this morning around Cape Hatteras in North Carolina, but now it is rushing away from the U.S. East Coast, so that's some good news. In fact, notice it makes it all the way up to Nova Scotia by tomorrow afternoon, where hurricane warnings are now posted there. So the good news for the U.S. East Coast, things will be improving tonight, tomorrow. Still some heavy rain right now and some gusty wind, but that hurricane finally pushing away. This is the front that triggered a few showers in our area. We've still got a few sprinkles left out there, but overall, I'm not expecting much rain with this through the rest of today. Just a low 10 to 20% chance for a brief rain shower in the area. Tonight, we should dry things out, partly to mostly cloudy. Those temperatures a little on the cool side, 58 for the low, but nothing too extreme for this time of the year. If you're going to be out and about, maybe relaxing in the hammock tomorrow, doing some yard work, going for that jog, maybe going to a practice, heading out to the golf course. The rain should hold off for most of it. I can't rule out a few sprinkles in the morning, maybe a brief shower in the afternoon, but mostly dry for your Saturday. We'll start off in the 50s and 60s, but climb to the low 70s tomorrow afternoon. I'm expecting highs in the low 70s as well for Sunday afternoon, so that means pleasant, comfortable weather for the big Browns game out at First Energy Stadium. Kickoff close to 70 degrees, and we should be in the low 70s for the majority of the game. Hopefully the Browns can pull off the big win. It looks like the weather will definitely be cooperating. So keeping things comfortable all the way through the weekend, highs in the low 70s, even through Monday afternoon, below normal temps. More heat, more humidity, though, making a comeback next week, Tuesday, Wednesday, highs in the middle 80s by Wednesday with another round of storms possible. Then we cool things off once again.
Back, Heat. Come on back.
Come on.
You guys got your hammocks ready? You got your hammocks set up?
I'm ready for that. That looked nice.
We got a little busy day here. Hey, 2 days away, and Rob's not going to like this, from perhaps the most anticipated season opener in franchise history, and Baker Mayfield getting his first captain's patch. We'll tell you how the rest of the players' vote panned out.
Oh, because I didn't make it? Is that what you're saying?
News 5 Sports is sponsored by your local Cleveland, Akron, Canton Volkswagen dealers.
1 year ago, ahead of their season opener against Pittsburgh, the Browns selected then-new quarterback Tyrod Taylor as a team captain. Baker Mayfield was a backup. Of course, you know the story. It took Mayfield less than 3 games to supplant Taylor as the starter and ultimately leader here in Cleveland. And today, in a surprise to nobody, his teammates selected him a captain for 2019. Mayfield, along with linebacker Christian Kirksey and long snapper Charlie Hewlett, are the 3 guys that will wear the captain patch all year long. Freddie Kitchens said the team had a lot of options.
That's special to be named a captain because that tells you what your peers think of you. And we had a lot of guys that got a lot of votes. All right, so I don't want to belabor the point here, but when you have a lot of guys that get a lot of votes, that means a lot of guys are affecting other people, and that's a good thing.
This is a great thing. Join Hanford Dixon, Gerard Cherry, myself for Browns Countdown from 10:30 to noon. Every Sunday, we got an extra half hour. That's new this year. We'll get you set for the Browns season opener against Tennessee. Josh Gordon does not want to talk about his time in Cleveland. In fact, the former Browns receiver doesn't want to discuss his past at all anymore. Gordon publishing a letter via Twitter today saying he'll no longer answer questions about his struggles over the course of his NFL career, writing that he hopes people will judge him on what he does now and in the future. Gordon was reinstated to the Patriots last month following another substance abuse suspension in December. It's not the MLB postseason just yet, but tonight the Tribe kickstarts a do-or-die series in Minnesota. The AL Central picture looking bleak. Cleveland trails the Twins by 6.5 games heading into their 3-game series. In the AL wildcard picture, well, it doesn't look much better. Take a look. After yesterday's loss to Chicago, the Tribe now a full game back of Oakland, a game and a half back of Tampa Bay. Both those teams get terrible teams tonight, Toronto and Detroit. Well, the Tribe gets a Twins team that's won 10 of its last 12. We are going to learn a lot about this Tribe team over the course of the next 3 games.
Terrible teams.
Not great.
Not great.
Toronto and Detroit, they're bad. Actually, and Oakland gets to play Detroit twice today. They finish up a game that they had to suspend a couple of months ago. Not good.
You're fired up over there.
I mean, you are
But the
rare
Browns.
well. But the Browns. It's all about the
football
Browns.
season
It's
anyway.
football, and it's the Browns coming.